Welcome back. The KZN Education Department is struggling to overcome concerns regarding its school nutrition program. Over 2 million learners have had to attend classes on empty stomachs. Now this after the service provider appointed by the department failed to deliver food.
Well, political parties in the province have accused MEC Mbali Fraser and her department of appointing a company with political connections to the ANC. Let's get more reaction on these developments. We are joined now by Basic Education Department spokesperson Elijah Mhlanga. Elijah, very good morning to you, and thanks a lot for your time this morning. I mean, this is certainly concerning because it brings into question once again how procurement actually works in certain departments. I mean, the big question now becomes, how did the KwaZulu-Natal Department of Education appoint this one main contractor being awarded this tender to supply to these schools and subsequently have a state where now you as national department has had to intervene in this? What went wrong? And more than anything else, this issue around supplying one contractor with this tender, how did it even work?
Good morning, Morena, and good morning, Faith. Well, that is what the Department of Basic Education is also trying to establish. That's why the minister sent that letter to obtain information that will assist DBE to assist the province to get out of this particular challenge. Our biggest concern, though, is that learners are not getting their meals. And this we know because we've already received reports from different parts of the province indicating that feeding is not taking place. Where it is taking place, there's inadequate supplies to schools. So we are working with the province now to actually get to the bottom of this matter.
Mr. Mhlanga, is there never any oversight from national government what the provincial departments are doing? So essentially, is the Minister, Mhlanga, not always overlooking what MEC Mbali Fraser is doing, whereas you now find yourself in this particular point where you yourselves are now taken aback by what is happening? Do you guys let the provincial department do what it needs to do and only maybe get feedback at certain periods of the year? How does it operate between national and provincial?
Education, just like health, it's a concurrent function. It means that DBE does its job and the province also has its own legal and constitutional obligations. So we create space for provinces to proceed with what they're supposed to do. And in this situation, it is one of those. Yes, DBE would allocate the funding to provinces based on the number of learners in that particular province, and we ask them to implement the nutrition program on behalf of DBE. But you allow them to proceed with the procurement processes because they've got a fully fledged National School Nutrition Program unit in that department with people that know what they're doing. But in terms of what would have happened in this case, the Department of Education in KZN was trying to come up with a more efficient way of delivering and supplying food to schools. But it seems that something went wrong there, and the detail of what would have gone wrong is exactly what DBE is trying to do. As we speak right now, there's a team of people who are working with the province from DBE and other provinces. We've also requested officials from other provinces to come join and beef up the capacity for monitoring and investigating what took place so that we can understand exactly what took place. When you implement a project or an initiative as big as this one, you are always looking for efficient ways of doing things. The school nutrition program feeds 9.6 million children every day. And there are wastages somewhere in the system. So the KZN Education Department was probably looking for another way of delivering the service. But as we know, it is backfiring. That's why we are talking about it right now.
Yeah. When you're looking at how ideally it should be working, Elijah, maybe you can just give us a little bit of an education about how the nutrition program actually works. Would it be like more than one company hired? Because as you're saying, that if it feeds more than 9 million young people a day, it means that it needs extensive capacity. And I'm wondering if extensive capacity can be supplied by just one contractor. Under normal circumstances and in other provinces especially, how does it ordinarily work?
Well, different provinces use different modalities of delivering the initiative, the program. So it could work. I mean, the idea of centralizing the delivery of the feeding scheme is not a wrong one. It could work if adequate preparation is put in place or is made. You could be controlling or coordinating centrally. But in this case, it does look like it was not the right move, just based on what we know thus far. Simply the fact that learners are not receiving their meals. In other provinces, you find a situation where they've got many different suppliers that work in specific areas like district or a circuit, and then a cluster of schools that are given to one supplier, and then they deliver specifically focusing on that particular area. And these would be contracted directly by the department itself. So you would find like hundreds of companies being given the contracts to deliver on the NSNP. But in KZN was doing the same as well. But I guess, the province is huge. So maybe some challenges would have been experienced there, which would have necessitated them trying to apply a different approach.
What answers is Minister Mhlanga looking for?
Well, there's quite a wide range. One is how the decision was made to appoint one company. She's also requesting the tender documents, also the specifications, but also to establish the challenges and how DBE can assist. So basically, this is like seeking all the information that has informed the decision that was taken by the province. Remembering, of course, that the National School Nutrition Program is a national program, and DBE is responsible for that. That's why the province is an implementing agent of DBE. So we need to know what would have taken place there so that we can provide appropriate support. Our biggest focus is to make sure that as of tomorrow, we improve the situation and that all learners get their meals. So we are working with speed together with the province to make sure that we correct that which would have gone wrong.
Yeah, in terms of just some of the feedbacks that you've been receiving as a result of this, I mean, there were certain reports about, for example, food that was close to an expiry date being offered. We got to see even the visuals of some of the food that was being given. I mean, it's food that no one would eat. To be honest with you, no one would, and nobody should be eating food that is closer to an expiration, because ultimately this is people. We're feeding people's children at the end of the day. So it requires just extensive mechanisms being done in that regard. So then, lessons learned, Elijah, how then do we start honing in so that we make sure that this kind of a situation does not happen again? I mean, obviously we're going to find diagnostic approaches, especially as to how one company was hired for that entire tender. That's great, but any lessons so that we know going forward we don't have a situation where, I mean, some of those visual elements, you kind of wonder to yourself, you wouldn't feed anybody something like that, and yet our children were being fed that kind of food.
Yeah, Faith, it's difficult now to say lessons learned because we're still investigating. So in the middle of the investigation, you wouldn't have any lessons or observations made. But what we know is that there's a problem. We need to feed. We need to get proper, healthy, nutritious meals to those children every day as per the law that requires these learners to be fed. And that's the focus of the department right now. But alongside that, we are investigating. Only after we've obtained all the information and we have gone through.
Oh, well, it seems to have lost the Basic Education Department spokesperson, Elijah Mhlanga. What a pity there. He looks as though the screen froze. But I think you got the gist of the conversation. Elijah, we lost you for a second. I don't know if it was stage 3 load shedding kicking in from your side. But you were just... we were just finishing your thoughts. Please, to go ahead and finish your thoughts.
Yeah, thanks, Faith. I was saying that we are focusing on correcting and making sure that the meals reach the kids. When the report has been compiled and the minister has considered it, that's when she'll probably make a public statement to say this is what would have gone wrong, these are the lessons learned, and this is what we need to avoid going forward. And this will not be just a lesson for KZN, but all other provinces as well, because they are all doing the same thing in terms of managing and administering the National School Nutrition Program.
Now, I know you're saying that there are investigations that are ongoing, and I would wonder if part of the investigations that are going to be ongoing is, allegations that have been put forward by suppliers that a 10-kilogram, bag of rice, for example, should be lasting at least a week. I mean, is that something that you guys are looking into? Are you looking into the period, or at least the timeline of how long, provisions that are given to schools should be lasting?
Mhlanga and Faith, the issues that you are asking are issues that have come to us. We've received reports and pictures just like you have indicating that they are inadequate, and in some cases, expired food items that are being delivered to schools. We are also getting reports that some teachers are having to buy gas for themselves in order for them to cook. In other cases, teachers are saying we have to supplement the food items that we've got because there will not be enough for the learner. So these challenges are there, and teachers are reporting these things. That's why we are taking this matter as urgent. And even today, as we speak, our people are there making sure that we're investigating. We will be going to the province as well to add to the capacity. We were already there last week. So we are working around the clock to make sure that we fix this. All these challenges are part of the investigation. And at the right time, once we've gathered all the information and the minister has a report on the table, she will then direct in terms of what should happen. But we are aware of all these challenges. That's why we are working to support the province to get out of this particular challenge.